Hello everyone. So it's me again, GMV. So today we're gonna learn the fundamentals in Kotlin. So this video tutorials is recommended for beginners. Okay. So before we start, let's go ahead and open up our browser right here. So before we're going to start coding our Kotlin, so you need to download and install this in your device. So as you can see right here, just go to this specific website, the oracle.com. Okay, so just click this one, the JDK development code kit. I mean, so just click this one, and as you can see, you can specifically choose right here the suit of your device. For example, your device is Mac. So you can specifically choose and download right here the installers. So in my case, I am using a Windows version, Windows OS in my device. So and I've already installed this one, the JDK, the Java Development Kit. So okay, so next is you need also to install this one, the editor of the Kotlin code. So you have two choices right here. So you can specify the ultimate version or just the community version. So the difference on the ultimate and the community version is the community version is free and open source, while this ultimate version right here is 30-day trial. So after a 30-day trial, so you can also purchase it. Okay, so I think that's all the prerequisite software that we're going to install in our device. Okay, so Let's start coding right now.
First is just open this software right here, the IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. Okay, so in my case, I have already opened this one. Excuse me. So all we need to do is we're going to create a new project right here. So create a new project. Just click this one, new project, and then choose the Kotlin JVM. So don't choose this one, this Groovy. So just click this one, Kotlin JVM, and then proceed to next. Click next. And then you specify your title name right here. Okay, so in our case, so just create your any name you want. So in my case, I will name this as first first Kotlin app, app, right? Okay, so just click finished, and then you will see your new created file here. So as you can see, there is a folder right here named .idea. So there is libraries, Kotlin, XML, and others. Okay, so all we need to do is create a new space or create a new workspace. So inyong button is simple kayo. Just right click this one, the source. As you can see the source, and then right click, and then new Kotlin file class. Okay, can you follow? Just right click the source right here, new Kotlin file class. Okay, so after that you will create your first Kotlin file class. So sample lang, sample, very easy. Okay, and then enter. Okay, so in order to successfully run our Kotlin code right here, we need to create our main function. So without the main function, we cannot compile or we cannot build or run our Kotlin code. So kinahanglan kita mag-create first, kibali si kaning main function is the starting point, the entry point of all the codes we're going to write in here. Okay? So unsaan na pag-create some main function na to? So very simple. Just write the word fun, okay, fun, and then main, and then open and close parenthesis, and then the brackets. Excuse me. And then after writing this code right here, we're going to pass a few parameters right here in our main function. So we're going to pass the args here, colon, and then array, and then we'll specify the string. Sorry. Okay. So don't worry right here the code right here. So as we go along, you will understand how this works, how these parameters work. So as I've said, kani siya diri is kani siyang mani siya atong main function. This will be your entry point, starting point in order to run your Kotlin code. So diri dayon di na ta magbutang sa atong Kotlin code. Okay. So unsaon man pag-print, how to print a message or a line of string message in our code. So there are two ways to print that one using the print function, and the other one is the print line. Okay, or the print line or print nil line. So for example, I will use this one first. So welcome to Kotlin course. Okay, so in order to successfully run right here our first line of code, so just click right here the play button or simply right click right here and then run sample. Excuse me. So just wait to successfully build your code, and then see, as you can see, it outputted the welcome to Kotlin course. Okay, so another method will be print line. Okay, and then this is another example. Okay, so right click and then run. Okay, so as you can see, we first atong gibuhat first is ato ning gi-print siya, welcome to Kotlin course. So as you can see nga ang second nga print line or second nga atong gi-print na, which is this is another example nga string is nasumpay siya. So this means that ang kaning function print line is i-print niya whatever statement or whatever values nga imong gina-assign diri, and then he will create another line. Okay? Can you follow? For example, I will delete this one and then I will add this one right here. So I'm using the print another line function right here, which is he is going to print this one, the message which is welcome to the Kotlin course, and then he will create the Kotlin compiler, the JVM, I think, uh, will create another line for us so that dili siya masumpay direct. Okay, so let's run the application. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the value right here, the welcome Kotlin course, and then added a new line which is this one, new line. So and then iya pong gi-output ni kaning another print line. Okay? Okay, so I hope that is clear for you. So next is, by the way guys, I will not explain anymore what is, for example, I will not explain in my video tutorial or course. For example, what is variable, what is constant, what is array, what is, what do you call this? All of those basic that you need to learn in programming. So I will not discuss that anymore because I know that you have already a background basic of programming in your previous course. So I am assuming right now that you already do know this, the for example the variables array and whatsoever. So I will jump to the course. I will jump gimodretso na lang ko dito para madali ta kay kung ako pa siyang ibalik din sa explain pa na ako what is variable, so dili na ako na explain guys. Okay, so self review na lang ta sa katong mga naagian nato, and dili man ka siya sa lisod kayo kaayo kay I think ang methods programming is just the same ra gyud siya, pareha ra gyud siya. Ang pag-declare lang ang lahi lang siguro, pero ang method, I mean ang way nga unsaon siya pagkuhan is pareha ra gyud siya. Dili, not necessarily pareha gyud, but kanang murag the same ra gyud siya ba ang flow niya. Okay, so I hope you kanang nakasabot mo so sa akong buot ipasabot sa inyo. Okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to create a new variable. So variable, what is variable? Variable is a container. Kibali, whatever the user is going to assign to it, it will be stored in that variable. Okay, I hope that is clear for you. So in order to create a variable, we will use the name var. So in other programming languages like PHP, so kung mag-create ka that variable is name lang sa variable and then imo siyang assignan of value. So in Kotlin is you're going to use var. Okay? Var and then you're going to name your variable. For example, um, name. So we use the var, which is method or a function in order to successfully create a variable. And then we named we named our variable name as name. So ang ngalan sa itong variable is name. And then we're going to assign a value to it. So any value, any data type value you are going to use. So unsa itong mga data type gali? First is integer, second string, float, what else? Float, decimal, I think. So whatever value, whatever you're going to assign with. Okay, so since name atong variable name atong ngalan sa imong variable is we're going to assign a string value right here. Okay, so var name and then the value of the variable, which is string data type. So I'm going to assign my name right here, GMV. Okay, salisin. So itong ibat diri is nag-create a variable. Ang ngalan sa itong variable is name and then we assigned a value to it, which is akong ngalan, GMV salisin. Okay, so how to print? Very simple. Print line or print function. And then we're going to copy this one and then run. Very simple. Very straightforward. It's me. So as you can see, it printed my name right here. So there is another way to assign or create a variable and then assign a string. For example, will delete this one and then the same variable name as name and then I will specify right here whether it is a string or integer. So specify na ko yung data type. So I will specify right here the string and then I will assign a value the same string b. So again, there are two ways to declare to create a variable. This one using var name and then the name of your variable and then declaring what is the data type you want to use. So in this case, you're using a string type, so you specify niya dire which is string and then the value. Okay, so pareha ra gyapon. So ang uban nga programming languages guys like PHP, mag-error siya kung dili nimo siya butangan diri og semicolon. So in Kotlin code, no need to put a semicolon after the end of the code or the statement or the statement. So pwede nimo siya dili na butangan. So ang uban mong code, for example like PHP, kung dili mo siya butangan, it will create an error for you. So na error di ang mogawas na something blah 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 nga na kay nalimtan og butang. Correct? So si Kotlin is pwede na siya walay semicolon. Okay? So kung butangan mo semicolon, I think pwede ra gyapon siya muran gyapon siya. Okay? So as you can see, miran gyapon siya kung gibutangan tog semicolon. Okay? So how to comment? Very simple. Sa man pag-comment. For example, daghan na kay kag line of codes right here. And ana. For example, daghan kay kanang line of codes right here and gusto nimo walaon to siyang kani diri nga line of code. So very simple pareha la sa uban nga excuse me, programming language kung mag-comment ka is ana. So kanira pud ang ma-comment diri nga section ang line I mean. So if mag multi-comment ka, you can specify it here. So kani lang slash backslash slash and then the asterisk. So tanan niya ma-comment dito kung gusto ka ma-specify as a dapat ni mo i-comment. Imo ra tangan gyapon diri asterisk and then oh sorry. Ana. So kanira diri nga line ang comment. Okay? So in my case I'm using shortcut. So excuse me, sorry. I'm using a shift, control, and then backslash. Okay. So next is what if integer atong assign na po nga i-create na po nga variable. So very simple enough. Var and then for example age and then assign a value to it. So very simple and then print age. Just right click and then run. So very simple. Sayo na kay guys. Dili na magliso dani nga kuan. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted 10 right here. Okay, so you can also do the second method, which is specifying the data type, okay, the integer, and then assigning a value. So dili na ka pwede magkuha na niya. So si Kotlin is kabalo na siya daan nga integer imong gi-assign nga value if it is numbers. So no need to put double quotation right here or double what's this? So double any. So no need to put it right here. So si Kotlin automatically na even ang uban nga programming languages kabalo na siya if it is numbers. So kabalo na siya daan nga oh okay integer ni siya nga data type. So no need to put double exclamation, a double quotation. Okay? So the same output will be generated right here. Okay, so the same 10 yapang. Okay, so I think this is the starting point, the basic. So in our next video, so we're going to create or let the user input any data type, whether it is a string or an integer, and then assign to catch that catch the string or integer and then put it assign it in our assigned variable and then output it in our here our terminal here. So I will demonstrate that in our next video. So thank you for watching this video right here and see you in another video. Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to another video tutorial. So as I've said in my previous video, so atong istoryahan karon is atong i-lecture karon is unsaon kung si user is mag-input siya or i-prompt nato si user. So we're going to prompt the user to input any data type, whether it is a string or a value, to the screen. Okay, so very simple. So I already opened my previous workspace right here. So first is we're going to create our main function. Okay, so create our main function, fun main. Okay, very simple, and then pass your parameters right here. Okay, simple enough, and then this one. Okay, so first is ato siyang i-notify sa user nga ma-input or ma-enter a value. So we're going to use the print statement, print function, print method. Okay, so print and then Sample, please enter your full name. Full name. Okay. So what we are doing right now here is we're prompting the user to input his or her full name. Okay. And then we're going to assign the value so that kung unsa may input ni user is i-catch niya and then i-store niya dito na variable. So we're going to create a variable right here which is I will name my variable as name. Okay? Name, and then again you can specify a string right here. Okay? String, and then we're going to use another function to catch the katong ingon ganina to catch kung unsa may input ni user. Okay? So we're going to use this one, the readline function. So this means that we are prompting the user to input his or her full name, and then whatever the user is inputted in that certain box or prompt is going to read kani nga function is mo siya mo read line siya. I mean ibasahon to niya kung sa tong value ang gi-input sa user, and then i-store niya dito sa name nga variable which is ang ngalan is name. Okay? So very clear. I hope that's clear for you. Okay. And then we're going to print it. So name, then run. Okay, just wait to successfully build. Okay, for example, GMB. So this time we're not assigning the value of the string. So we're letting the user to input a value. Okay, so ato ganina is lahi man to ganina, which is atong gibuhat kanina. Sa nang comment which is atong gibuhat kaniha sa I mean sa previous video na to is na-create a variable nga name, and then ato siyang gi-assignan directly sa value. Okay? And then ato siyang gi-print. So this time is we're letting the user input his or her value nga unsa atong ipa-prompt sa iya. Okay, so mo na atong gi-discuss karon. Okay, so another example. For example, we're going to print another line. Please enter your age. Excuse me. And then, pwede na may semicolon again. And then we're going to create a variable age and then specify the data type which is integer. And then we're going to use the function readline, okay, to catch the value whatever the user is being entered. Okay. So as you can see, we'll comment this one first. Okay, so that we can focus on this lecture. So as you can see, it gives an error right here. So it says that type mismatch required int int question mark man siya. So required int found string. Okay, so this means that ang atong code right here is error. Nga naman, why? Oh, why? It's because kaning function nga readline is only for string values only. So atong gibuhat diri is data type nato is integer, since integer man atong gusto nga ipa notify sa user and then ipa enter sa iya. So dili siya pwede mag mismatch siya kay again kaning nga function is for string only. Okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're gonna convert this right here using another function, another method. So ato siyang i-convert kaning string function kaning readline into the integer data type which is we're going to assign. Okay? So very simple that, and then to int. Okay, use this one, to in. So as you can see, wala na siya nag-error. So it gives no errors. So wala na ni-prompt din another error. And then we can successfully print this one and then run. Okay, just wait for. Okay, so please enter your age. So I'm going to enter my age 20, 2013, 23, sorry. And then it gives the output of 23. So balik ta, explain. So what we're doing right now, right here, right now, right here, grabe. So what we're doing right now is we're printing this message right here, which is please enter your age, and then we're assigning or we're creating a variable named age, and then we're kung unsa may gi-input ni user is i-catch niya diri nga function, and then iyang i-convert since string man iyang pangayunan ni iyang i-convert, which is gamit ag another function or method nga convert niya nga na ang string into an integer type. Okay, which is after na ma-convert into integer, and then iyang i-save diri nga variable sa age nga imong gi-create. And then this one is only printing whatever the value or whatever the value of the user inputted. Okay, excuse me, very simple. Okay, so ato ni kuan, ato na ni excuse me po, print line. Okay, so code. Okay, just wait for it. So GMB. So age is 23. Yes, it inputted right here. Okay, so I think that's all for this video. So see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, welcome to another video tutorial. So in the previous video, we basically learned how to use a print function, the basic of the Kotlin. So we have also learned how to declare or create a variable, and then lastly is we also learned how to uh, we also discuss on getting input from the user. For example, we've let the user or we prompt the user to input his or her name, or we're prompting the user to input a specific number. So we've discussed that in our previous lecture video. So this time, so we're gonna discuss the differences between the var and the val function, which is the var is you use it when you're creating a variable. So this time there's another function we should use, which is val. Okay, so we will also discuss on the basic of math functions or math operations or arithmetic operations in Kotlin. So we're going to discuss it here. Okay, so I've already opened my workspace in here. So for the previous created project. Okay, so first is of course we're going to create our main function. So this is as I've said in my previous video, uh, this main function is the entry point, so you cannot compile or run your code right here if you did not create your main function. So we'll create now our main function. So very simple, very easy. So fun and then main. Okay, and then we're going to pass a few parameters right here, and then string. Okay, So the previous video is we've used the var in creating a variable. So what's the difference between the var and the what's this? Oh, sorry, var name then string. So what's the difference between the val and the var? Okay, so string. Okay. So sa previous video is si var lang sa atong gigamit, which is nag-create a variable and then assign na to ang variable. Okay, variable o unsa nga atong gi-assign sa iya. So duha man ang pamaagi sa pag-create sa variable, which is var, and then you can automatically assign a value right here. Right? For example, we'll come to Kotlin course. Okay, so we've discussed it in our previous video. So you can also specify right here, which is a string value. Okay, and then you assign to it its value. So for example, welcome to Kotlin course. Oh, sorry, welcome to Kotlin course. So you can also do this, and then we're going to print. Okay, so right click and run the application. Okay, just wait for it to compile and successfully build. Okay, so as you can see, it runs without an error. So you can always use this method, or you can simply assign a value to it. Okay, so creating a variable, naming your variable, and then assigning a value to your variable. Okay, so now what's the usage of val? So val is a constant. So what is a constant? So a constant is when you assign the value to it, you cannot change or you cannot reassign a new value to it. For example, okay, for example, so we'll declare a var name, and then I will specify the string, the data type here, which is string, and then I will assign, okay, sorry, I will assign automatically my name variable, which is hello, and then I will reassign another value to my variable. Okay, so name is equal to hi. Okay, so we're going to print it. So print name. Okay, so let's see what happens. Excuse me. So just wait for it. So what happens is we've created a variable which is a name variable, and then we assigned a value to it which is hello. But in the second line, we assigned another value which is high. So definitely ang iyang last nga execute is ang imong last nga gi-assign sa iyang value. So inana ang pag-declare or pag-create sa variable. So kung unsa imong last nga gi-assign sa iya is mao yang i-kuhaon or i-catch na or iyang i-output. Okay? So lahi po siya sa katong akong giingon ganina value which is constant. Okay? So for example, val name. And then assign mo ang iyang variable, assign mo iyang with value, for example, hello gyapon. Okay? So we're going to run. So of course, ang output gid ani since wala man siya error is hello gid, di ba? So hello ang i-output. So what if ato siyang assignan og another value which is name, and then assignan nato siya hi. So as you can see, it gives an error here. So ang iyang dimension ng error is val cannot be reassigned because val is used in a constant, or ang val is used only for constant. Ang constant is once nga i-assign nimo na nga value sa iya is dili na nimo siya pwede ma-reassign. So mao ra na yung major differences guys sa when you use the var and the val. Okay? So I hope it is clear for you. Okay. So next is we're going to talk about the basic math functions or the arithmetic functions of the Kotlin. Okay. So so we're gonna prompt the user. So print line and then enter a number. Okay, for example, then and we'll create number here num1. Okay, and then we will catch it or ato siyang i-catch and then i-store nato sa value nga ay nga variable naman, so we'll use the readline function. Okay, and then we're going to convert to int so that wala siya error. Okay, so please enter a number and then we're going to print another uh, please please enter number 2. Okay, so number 1 and then going to copy paste this one, so this time number 2 read line to it, and then we're going to declare a variable which is the sum of these two numbers, okay, which is the num1 plus the num2, very easy, and then we're going to print the sum. Okay, so the total is, and then sum. So what I am doing right now is I am using a concatenation, this one. So you can also basically print this one without the message. Okay, so without any concatenation, but okay, so sorry. So what I'm doing right now is I am sorry, using a string message right here, which is the total is, and I am concatenating printing this one. Okay, so let's run to it. Okay, so enter number 1, for example 2, and then please enter number 2, 2. Okay, so as you can see the total is 4. Okay, so very basic math functions. So print line, so if it is subtraction you can also do that. Okay, so 5 minus 1, okay, so it's 4. Okay, so you can also use a string function, so please enter your full name. Okay, then create a variable that will store your so whatever the user will input. Okay, so name, and then readline function. Okay, and then print name. Very simple. Okay, full name. Uh, okay, so I computed my type name. Okay, so if you have comments or questions regarding this video, so feel free to comment down below. So thank you for watching this video and see you in another video. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone. So welcome to another video tutorial. So in this video, we're gonna discuss the if-else statement in Kotlin, so the basic ones. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so as you can see, I've already opened my previous workspace right here. Okay, excuse me. So I've also written my entry point right here, my main function right here. Okay, so first is we're going to declare a variable. So we're going to create a variable. Okay, so again, we're going to discuss now is the if else statement in Kotlin. Okay. So first, we're going to create a variable. So val, and then for example num1, then specify the data type, which is integer, and we're going to assign a value to it. Okay. So next will be num2, and integer, specify a value, then 20. As in my previous video, you can also use var, okay, variable, and then the var is you can assign a string right here, which is the val is a constant. So meaning once you assign the value to it, you cannot change, okay, or you cannot assign any value to it. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. And then we're going to set our condition right here. Okay, so if, then curly brackets, then we're going to print some message right here. Okay, so any specific message, and then else print another specific message. Okay, so this is where we're going to set our conditions right here. So if the number one variable is greater than or equal to the number two variable, so it's going to print the, for example, a sample message. So sample message, it will be number one. Number one is greater than number two. Number two. Very simple. Okay. Or else number two is greater than number one. Okay. Number one is greater than number two. If if number one, or the variable number one, is greater than number two, it will print this one. Or else, if the number 2 is greater than the number 1, it will also print this one. Okay, so let's try it. So let's run our code. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the number 2 is greater than number 1. It's because our variable number 2 is very clear that is greater than the variable number 1. Okay, so we can also add a sample concatenation right here. Okay, so you can also print a value right here, two, number 2. Okay, so you can also add the same right here, num1. Excuse me. Then we're going to run. So what I'm doing right now is just basically a concatenation, so outputting what is the assigned value of that variable. Okay, so the same. So what if we're going to change the value of this one, 30? Then we're going to run our program, our code. Okay, so as you can see, the result now is different from the other one. So it outputted the number one is greater than the number two. It's because our variable number one now is now greater than our variable number two. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. By the way, guys, this is just a concatenation. I'm just outputting this one. What is the value of it, of the variable? Okay, so the value of the number 2 is 20, and the variable value of the number 1 is 30. So you can also do this one, the concatenation right here. For example, using the plus sign. Okay, so just type number 1. Okay, and also sorry, number 2. So they're just basically the same. So it's up to you guys to kung unsa inyong ganahan nga paggamit ani. Okay. Okay, so I hope it's clear for you. So let's try another example. Okay, so what if this time we're gonna let the user, we're gonna prompt the user, we're gonna prompt the user to input a specific integer or a specific number. Okay, and then after the user will input the condition, or we're going to set a condition that will determine basically whether the two inputted numbers will be greater than or equal to. Okay, I hope that's clear for you. So okay, so excuse me, let's do it. Okay, so first we're going to prompt the user, or we're going to let the user input two numbers. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So very simple, the print statement. Okay, so please uh, enter number one. Okay, very simple. And then we're going to declare a variable, or we're going to create a variable that will store that specific number. So val number one, and then integer specified to it, and then we're going to use the function readline to catch that value. Okay, so readline, and then we're going to convert that into an integer type. Okay, so 2n, 2. Okay, very simple. So we're going. So next is the same. We're going to print a message. We're prompting the user to input a second number. Please enter number two. Excuse me. And then the same. Assign a value. A variable, integer, readline, and then convert to integer. Okay. So if, and then if else, so we're going to print here. Print, and then specific message. Print specific message. So we're going to print mm, number one. Number one. Ah, let's try the concatenation. So number one. Number one is greater than number two. Okay, so let's try it. Number, oh, going to change this one. So number two. Okay, or else number two is greater than number one. Oops, number one. Okay, so we're going to set our conditions right here. So if number one is greater than or equal to number two, so it's gonna print. So if number one, the user inputted is greater than the number two, it will print this one. So if it is not, it will print this one. Okay, so let's try it. Let's run our code. Excuse me. Okay, so please enter number one. So I'm going to enter 15, my first number. And then please enter number two. So I'm going to enter the second number, which is 20. Okay, so 20 is greater than 15. So the second condition is being outputted. It's because the first number is 15 and the second number is 20. So what we did right here is, okay, so I'm going to explain all over the top. Okay, so again, we're prompting the user, or we're just printing a message right here, which is using the print function. Okay, with a message of, excuse me, please enter number one. And then we're assigning a value, we're assigning a variable that will catch that specific integer, that specific number. And then using this readline function, and then we're converting that to integer. It's because this, again, in my previous video, this readline function right here is only for string usage. Okay, So next is, again, we're also prompting it, basically printing another message statement right here, this line of code right here. And then the same, declaring or assigning variable that will catch whatever value is being inputted and then converting to integer. Okay, this is where we set our condition right here. So if the variable number one is greater than or equal to number two, so this means if the variable number one is greater than the variable number two, it will print this message right here. Or else, if it is not, and then it will basically print message right here. Okay, so that's why. So let's input another a number. So you could see another example. So we'll input a smaller, greater value right here, which is 50, and then my second number will be uh, 20. Okay, so as you can see, 50 is greater than 20. Okay, it's because the variable number 1 is greater than the variable number 2. So it prints right here, as you can see. Okay, so I hope that is clear for you. So we're going to discuss more about statements in the next video. So thank you for watching and goodbye. Hi everyone, so welcome to another video tutorial. So today we're gonna be discussing about loops in Kotlin. So preferably we're going to discuss the while and the for loop. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, so first is we're going to create a new Kotlin file class. Okay, so I will just name this one as loops. Oh, sorry, loops in loops. Okay, to be specific. So we will have to create our main function. So basic, sorry, main function, then kind of pass a few parameters right here. Okay, so first is going to use a while loop. So we're going to declare a variable first, so var, and then for example num1, specify the data type is integer. We're going to assign a value of 1. So this will be the our starting point of our loop. So number 1, and then we're going to use the while statement. Okay, so while num1, this will be our condition right here. So num1 is less than or equal to 5. So this will be, so our loop will be, our loop will start from number 1. So and then it will basically end in number 5. Okay, so it will just going to print it, and then next is we're going to increment it by 1. Okay, so plus plus. So what we did right here is basically create a variable called num1, then assign a starting enter point of value number 1. So our loop will start in number 1, and then it will basically end in number 5. So while num1, variable num1 is less than or equal to 5, and then it will print this line of code here. So basically it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So first loop will print number 1. Okay, so while number 1 is less than or equal to 5, so it will print, and then it will basically increment. Then next loop will be number 2, and then pass this line of code here, print the value, and then so on. Okay, so let's try and run this example. Okay, so as you can see, it printed printed number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I hope that's clear for you. So just make sure to put this one, uh, this increment right here. Okay, so another example will be the for loop. So the basic. So again, you're seeing for statement, for, and then for example, for num1, and then in. So you basically created a variable right here, and then we're going to pass the what we call that the endpoint or end the end of the statement. Okay, for example, 1 2 starting point, and then 1 2, for example, 10. Okay, and then we're going to print number. Okay, so what we do is just basically the same with the while loop. So we created a variable, and then we've created a what do you call this this number is right here, and then so basically this loop will start in number one, and then it will end in number 10. Okay, so let's run this example of code. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted number 1 up to 10, numbers 1 to 10. Okay, so there's another method in for loop in Kotlin, which is I think it's descending order, or it uses the predefined function, which is the down to. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with that. So example for, and then let's create another variable num2, and then in. So the starting point will be, for example, 10 down to, okay, and then 1. So this loop means it's going to loop starting from number 10 down to number 1. Okay, so let's try to print the output of this one. Okay, so num2, and then just write the print line statement right here so that our output will not be good. Okay, so let's try to run our application. Okay, so as you can see, the first line of code here successfully runs, and then this one right here is I think the descending order. So it first loop will be it will print number 10. Okay, second loop 9, and then down to 1. So basically, we're going to add here a comment. So this is the ascending order, I think. Ascend, ascending order loop. So this is descending order loop. Okay. So I hope it is clear for you. It's clear for you using the loops. So there is another method which I think you can specify a loop. For example, you're going to loop from 1 to 10, and then you're going to increment it by 2. So there's also a predefined function called step. If you want step by 2, by 3, you can also do that in Kotlin. Okay, so for example, 4, and then you're just going to specify it here. For example, num3, create a variable in, and then 1 to, for example, 1 to 20, sorry, 20, and then step by 2. So this means that this statement right here will loop from 1 to 10, 1 to, sorry, 1 to 20, and it will basically increment it by 2, or step it by 2. So let's run the example so that you will understand what I am talking. So sorry, print line right here. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the first number is 1, and then it will step 2 or increment by 2. So the next output will be number 3 and 5. So next 7, 9, and so on. Okay, so I think this is just the basic usage of the loops in Kotlin. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Okay, and please also subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video, and bye bye for now. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another video tutorial. So for this video, we're going to discuss about the another statement in Kotlin, which is the when statement. So in other programming languages, uh, they used switch, I think. So in Kotlin, we use when. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so let's create another file here. So just right click source, then new file Kotlin class. So let's call this file as when statement. Okay, enter. Then first we're going to create our main function. Okay, main. Then we're going to pass a few parameters right here. Okay, oops. Okay. Okay. So example, we're going to create a variable. So num1, then integer plus 10. So when, and then for example 1, and then we're going to assign uh, sample message right here. Oops. The number is, and then concatenate to sample, or you can also do this right here. Okay, and then print statement again. The number is num. Okay, or else if it is not in the range, we're going to add a statement right here. Then print, sorry, out of range, out of range. Okay, so let's try and run our application right here. All right. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. So okay. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted out of range. So it printed this line of code here. So basically, what we do is we assigned or we created a variable named num1, and then we assign a value of 10, and then we performed a when statement right here. So when num1, so if it is equal to this number right here 1, so it's gonna print this statement. If it is number 2, so it's gonna print another statement right here. Okay, so in this case it outputted or it printed out the out of range because the value of the number 1 or the variable number 1 is 10, so it printed out the out of range. Okay, so for example, we're going to replace this one with 1, and then run our application. So it's basically it's gonna print this one. The number is okay. So as you can see, printed out the number is 1. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so for example, we're going to prompt the user uh, just like our previous video. So we're going to prompt the user to input a specific number. Okay, so very basic. So first is we're going to add a message that will prompt the user to input a number. So print statement again, and then this enter a number. Okay, and then let's leave this one, the variable num1, and then we're going to catch that line, read line, and then we're going to convert it to integer. Okay, so I think this is okay. So let's run our application right here. Okay, please enter a number, for example 2. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted number 2. Okay, let's try another number. Okay, so it is out of range. Okay, so what if the user or will add another number? So say for example, we're going to assign a range of 3 to 10. So how are you going to do that? Okay, so very simple. We're going to just use the range of the when statement. Okay, so 3, so in, and then 3, that for example to 20. So this means that if the user inputs number 3 to 20, it will print out the, so we're going to assign right here, print sample, this number is in range of of for example in oops, oh, what happened here? Okay, sorry. So in is out. Okay, and uh, this is a sample message. So it will print a sample message. Okay, this let's copy this one. The number is and then concatenate number. Okay, so let's try. So what we're doing right here is basically prompting the user to enter a number, and then we've created a variable called num1, and then read using a readline function, and then converting that to integer. Then when if the user inputs 1, so it will basically print this line of code here. If it is 2, it will print this line of code here. So if it so this one is we're using a range in when statement. So if the user inputs from this range from 3 to 20, it will print this one also. So whatever the number is being entered, or else it is out of range. Okay, so let's try and run our application, our code right here. Excuse me. Okay, so let's input number 1. Okay, so as you can see, the number is 1. Okay, so let's run again our application. So we're going to input the range from here, 3 to 20. So for example, 15. Okay, so the number is 15. Okay, so if it is out of range, for example 21, so it's basically gonna print the out of range message right here. Okay, so I can also add up here the using the float or the string statement. Okay, or I mean the message. Okay, so I think that's all for this video, and see you in another video. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to another video tutorial. So in this video we're gonna be talking about array and Kotlin. So first of all, what is array? Um, Array is, I think, one of the most fundamental data structure, practically in all programming languages. So basically, the idea behind an array is to store multiple items of the same data type, such as, for example, integer or a string. So under with a single variable name. So in declaring a variable, so you cannot definitely you cannot assign many values to it. So you can only assign one value in one variable. So if you're going to assign many values in a single variable, so you can do it with an array. Okay. Okay. So let's give it example of how to use an array in Kotlin. Okay. So as you can see, I've already opened the previous workspace right here, and I have also created a new file, so named array in Kotlin. Okay, so how are you going to use array in Kotlin? Very simple. So we're just going to declare it. So var, then for example array list sample. So var, and then you're just going to name it your array. Then uh, use the array function in Kotlin. Okay, and then after that, you have to specify its data type, whether it is integer or string. Okay, so in this case, let's just use the integer data type for in. Then after that, you have to declare, or you have to create its size. So for example, 5. Okay. After that, we're going to put an initial value of this array. Okay. So what we basically did here is created an array, and the array name is array list sample, and then use the array function of Kotlin, and then we give it the size of 5. So meaning in array sample we have 5 elements, because that is the size of our array. So each element we have a value of 0. Okay, so let's give it a try to draw this one. For example, I have my epic pin here. Okay. So in order for you to really understand the usage of array, okay. So for example, where's the pen here? For example, this is an array. Let's give it an example. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the size we declare is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 right here. So the initial value will be, because we initialize the value of our array, which is the value of 0. So the initial value is 0, 0, 0. So each index will be initialized as value 0. So this will be our index. So this will be the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 indices, but the size of our array is 5. It's because when you count, or when you start counting an array, it always starts with 0. Okay, so we basically based on its index. Okay, but each index we have a value of 0. Okay, so I hope it's clear for you. Okay, so let's exit this one. Okay, so how we basically can print an array? So very simple, using for loop, for, and then for example x in array, and then going to print x. Okay, so let's give it a try and run our application, our sample code right here. So basically, we're just printing out the whole value, or the whole of each element of the array. So as you can see, printed out five zeros. It's because we initialize our array with the value of 0. Okay, so what we can do more here, and just comment out this one, is basically we can assign a value of our array. So we can specify a value to it. Okay, so we're going to assign value, example, and then for example 0 index, and then we're going to result 10. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one so that it'll be faster. Of 4 5. Okay. Okay, so this will be index 1 2 3 4. Okay guys, don't be confused. So this one is the indices. So this size right here is the size, or the elements of your array. Okay, so it's mode is 20, 30, and then 40, 50. And then just have to print another technique in printing the arrays is using its indices. For example, I'm going to print this one. The value is then concatenation, sorry, and then array list, and then you specify what index. Okay, for example, so index 1, so the output will be 20. So let's give it a try. Run our app, sorry. My god, it debugs our application. Run our application. Okay. Okay. As you can see in the output, so it printed out 20. It's because we specify the index which is 1. Okay, so the value of the index 1 of the element array simple is 20. So for example, we're going to specify the for index. Okay, okay, so it printed out 50. Okay, so uh, let's give it a try in another example. So these were the methods we're going to use in order to successfully print an example array. Okay, so let's give it another example using what we call this, a string array, string in data type. So just change this one. So basically it's just, they're just the same. And then we're going to not assign any single value of our array, string. Okay, so array string sample, and then the same, and then assign hello. Okay, copy 5. Oops, oops, sorry. Array, array, and then it will be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, hello, welcome to welcome to welcome to Kotlin sorry, welcome to, and then clicking cars, then course. Okay. Then, as I example area, you can specify whether you only want to print this out, the index 2. Okay, so you can specify that. Okay, so in our case, I just print it out in the for loop, print all the elements. Okay, so for example, sample then in array is a sample string, and then print, and then sample. Okay, very easy. So run our application. Okay, so as you can see, it printed out hello, welcome to Kotlin course. So we can give it a try and give a new space or new line here in printing. Okay, so as you can see, hello, welcome to Kotlin course. Okay, so this time we're uh, let's have another example. For example, the user will input a value or a string value or integer value to this portion right here, and then that value will be saved to the array you've created. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Very simple again. So I just use for loop, use it for, and then sample sample in 0, 0 to 4, because we have the size of 5 of our array in here. And then we can basically prompt the user to input a specific value. Please input any value. Okay. And then we will catch that value in order to store in our variable, in our, I mean, array. So array the string, and then sample read line. Okay, I hope you can follow. And then we can basically print this out. Okay, so print, uh, we're printing out. Oh, sorry, it's not. I think it's not gonna print this one. So let's make another for loop. Sample in 0 4, and then we can basically print uh, sample the value. Sorry. What we can do here is sample, and then we will concatenate the array list string, and then sample. Okay, so that each element will be printed out. And okay, so I hope we're doing the correct concept here. So let's give it a try, and let's debug if there's any error right here. Okay, please input any value. For example, sample hello, hi, hey. Oh, sorry. So we're going to use. Okay, so as you can see, it successfully catch these values right here in our array and printed output the output. Okay, so let's give it another try. For example, u s t s. Okay, so um, then okay. So let's run another. As you can see, it already printed out the indices with the values. So U, S, D, A, uh, A. Okay. So as you can see, are the index 0 has U value, and then 1 has the index 2 has T value, 3 P, and then 4 A. So I hope you basically get what I want to share with you. So by the way, this is the basic one. There is more complex right here in many example in the internet you can watch. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and thank you for watching this video. Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm back again for another video tutorial. So this time we're gonna be discussing another topic in Kotlin programming, which is functions. Okay, so first of all, what is function? So in my own opinion, so a function is a set of code or a block of code in your program that performs a specific task. Okay, so in order for you to understand about functions, so let's give it a try. Let's have an example. Okay, so let's create a new Kotlin file class here. So I will name this as uh, functions. Functions. Okay, so let's create our main function first. Fun main. Okay, args. Oh, sorry, args, and then array. Oops, my god, sorry. Then string. Okay, so in all programming languages, functions is very powerful because, as I've said earlier, it performs a specific task in your program. So there are many ways to declare and create a function. So we'll gonna have the basic one, the very basic function. Okay, so in order to create, just have to type the word fun, okay, and then name your function, name of the function. For example, a sample message, okay, and then brackets and curly braces. For example, so this is now our function right here. So a specific block of code, okay. For example, we're gonna print a message statement. So hello, welcome to then course, okay. So in order for you to use the function, so you have to call it. So asam na to siya i-call. So we need to call it in our main function. So right here. So we need to call simply the function name. So sample message. And let's try and run it up. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the hello, welcome to Kotlin course right here. So basically what we did here is we just created a simple function. The name of our function is sample message, and we just printed it out. We just printed a message right there. Okay, so this is just a basic function. So let's have another example. So for example, we're doing a math operations. For example, so fun addition. Okay, so for example, bar num1, then integer, then var num2 integer, and then for example 20, and then we're going to declare the result plus, okay, so just basic operation, and then we're going to print, okay, so the result. Then, okay, and call it our function. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the value of 30 right here. It's because we basically add these two numbers right here, the 10 and 30. Okay, so let's add another function right here. Function subtraction. Subtraction. Okay, so the same. We're gonna use the same variable right here. So this is 10, 20 var num2 in 10. Okay, and then var result equals num1 okay minus num2, and then we're gonna print the result. Okay, print result. In this case, we're going to print this one. Okay, so run. Oops, print up. We're not calling the function right here. Okay, so basically call the function, run our application. Okay, so as you can see, it outputted the numbers 30 and 10. So what we basically did here, so we just have created two functions. The first function, it will basically do the addition of these two variables right here, the number 1 and the number 2. And the second function will do the subtraction. Okay, so the first one, the addition, and the second one is the subtraction. Okay, so again, guys, this is just the basic one of the Kotlin function. So let's try another example. So okay, so this time we're going to use a function with a return value, with a specific value, functions with a return value. So let's create another function, another example. So fun, for example, addition sample. Okay, so what we can do right here is we're going to create our variable, for example, num1, and then going to declare the data type, num2, integer, sorry, integer, oops, and then integer. So what we can do right here is create a variable result, and then we're going to add these two variables right here, num2, sorry, and then return whatever the value of there's return the specific value of the okay. And then let's call our function right here, sample 20. Second number will be for example 30. Okay, so basically it will just add up these two variables right here of the value 20 and 30. So we're going to print this one. It's going to let's run the application. Okay, so nothing. Okay, print. So we're gonna print the result. Okay, so let's try another. Okay, it's not printing anything. Okay, so we're gonna print just print statement right here. So that, and we will just copy paste this one. So let's try another. Okay, so as you can see, it already outputted right here. So another example. So let's create another function. Function sample subtraction. Subtraction. Okay, so another example. Do the same num2, num1. This time, let's go ahead and use the double data type, num2, and then double data type, okay, and then double data type, okay. So let's create another variable result. So hold num1 minus num2, okay, and then we're going to return result, okay. So let's write it here. So we indent this one, print, and then sample subtraction, and then we're going to input the value 50 and another value which is 20, okay. So let's try our application. Let's run application. Wait, happened? uh, num1. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is not an integer, so we basically declared a double float or data type here. Okay, okay, so my bad. Okay, so oops, printed out print line. So as you can see, it already printed out the 30.0 double value here. So first function printed out the 50. So basically just basically add these two numbers right there. So addition method is used in this line of code here, and the second one is basically a subtraction. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, guys. And if you have any questions, so feel free to comment below. So I'll discuss more about functions in this video, in the next video. So thank you for watching, and bye bye for now. Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm back again for another video tutorial. So in the previous video, we discussed there the topic of function. So we discuss and give an example of how to create and declare basic functions. So as you can see here in the screen, so we also discuss the function with return value. So this time we're gonna discuss another topic in Kotlin, which is function overloading. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. So okay, let me open my PowerPoint. So what is function overloading? So function overloading allows a programmer to define multiple functions with the same name. So in Kotlin, so you can do that you can do that method. So having multiple functions with the same name. Okay. So why use function overloading? So it defines here that it gives the programmer the permission to create function that conceptually perform the same thing on a different data type. So there is a way that you can use the same function name but different what do you call this? You should use different parameters or different arguments so that it will not give an error. Okay, so let's open our Kotlin workspace right here. So let's give an example. So let's create another Kotlin file class. So okay, so I will name this as function overload, function overloading. Okay, let's create our main function. Sorry. Okay. for example, we're going to create an sample function sample one, function sample two, sample sample one. Sorry. Okay, so as you can see, it gives an error right here because we basically use the same function with the same function name. So what we can do right here is to use the method overloading. So as I've said earlier, so we can do this in Kotlin programming, but we should clearly define the parameters right here or the arguments right here. So what we can do is, for example, num1, and then integer num2 at the same time integer. So as you can see, it gives no error right here. It's because they have different arguments right here. So we define different arguments. So this is functions with two arguments or two parameters. And this function is just a basic function. So we can basically use it in Kotlin. So you can also use this one. So having different variable name. But of course, you need to add more parameters or arguments right here. Okay, so that it will not give an error. Okay. For example, we're going to return the value result 1 plus. Okay, so return or so I will just copy and paste this one. Okay, so let's define the uh, okay. So let's give it a try and print uh, the sample one. So as you can see, it gives an option right here, so you can choose specifically choose this one. So the same function and with different arguments right here. So you can basically just choose one right here. Okay. So for example, 10 and then 20. So it gives. So basically just having a sample math operations right here. So basically just adding these two numbers right here. So this time we're gonna subtract this or let's say multiply. Okay. And then just okay. So sorry, print new line and I'm going to just print this one, sample one, and then I'm going to choose this one with three parameters. So one example 2 times 2 and then another plus 10. Okay, so let's try and run our example. By the way guys, this is just a function overloading. So basically, there is another method in Kotlin which is polymorphism. So function overloading is different with function polymorphism. So I will discuss it in my next video. Okay, so as you can see, it correctly outputted the values right here. So basically, we just print the values right here. Okay, so 10 plus 20, 30, and then the second one is multiplication at the same time addition. So this is the concept guys of function overloading. So it's very basic and very simple. So all you need to do is to just add this right here the parameters or the arguments so that it do not give an error. Okay, so you can create many functions right here with the same function name as long as you define its parameters, its arguments right here. Okay, So I think guys, that's all for the video. So see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Okay, so hello guys. So I'm back again for another video tutorial. So this time we're gonna be discussing what I've mentioned in my previous video tutorial, which is polymorphism. So there are lots of similarities in function overloading and polymorphism, but they have different methods or different way to declare and create that. Okay, so let's try and have an example. But first, gonna I'm gonna open my PowerPoint right there. So first of all, what is polymorphism? So polymorphism means the ability to present the same interface for different data types. So that is its definition right here. Okay, so why we need to use and why we need to learn and implement polymorphism in our code or in our program. So first is it is used extensively used in implementing inheritance. So later in our course, so we'll discuss it. What is this one? The inheritance. So we'll also give some example of it. So second one is share same external interface with different internal structure. So that is why we need to implement polymorphism in our program, in our code. Okay, so let's go back to our IntelliJ IDEA editor right here. So I'm going to create another Kotlin class here. So I will name it as polymorphism. Polymer, polymer, polymorphism. 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 Okay, sorry about that. Function name. Okay, so let's create another example function. So uh, sample function. Okay, sample function. So let's create another sample function. So sample function. So let's create another one. Sample function. Sorry, function. Okay. So what we can do right here is because basically we will change the arguments right here or the parameters so that it will not give us an error. So as you can see, it gives an error right here. So what you can do is sample int. Okay, so this is my variable name, and then I will declare this as integer. Okay, so this one is sample string. Okay, this is a string value. Sample double. This is a double data type. Sorry, double. Okay. Mm, what happened here? Sorry. Sample double. And okay. So we can just add right here the same. Can automatically print sample int, print sample string. then print sum total. Okay, so what we did here is created three functions with the same function name, but we change its we also have different uh, variables right here with a different data type. So this is the concept, guys, of polymorphism in Kotlin programming. So it is very different in function overloading, because in function overloading we use the same function name at the same time. We can also use the same string variables, but we have to add more the arguments right here, or the parameters right here. But in polymorphism, we can also use different the same function name, but we need to change its data types right here. Excuse me. We need to uh, differentiate or change its data type so that it will not give us an error. Okay, so let's have and try to print this one. So for example, sample function, and we will integer. Okay, so second is sample function with string. So hello. Okay, second one is function with double 10.0, uh, double value, simple function. Okay, right here. So 10.0. Okay, so let's try and run our example right here. Okay, so print line. Sorry for that. Print line. Okay, let's run it. Try. So as you can see, it already uploaded these values right here. The 10, the which is this one. The function is put in the value of 10. The second function is the first function is basically integer. The second function is a string, and the third function is a double data type. So this is the concept, guys, of polymorphism on Kotlin. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. This video. Okay, so bye for now.